Hey guys, my name is Moon and welcome back for more Higurashi When They Cry, Chapter 6, Tsumihoroboshi. So last time, Rena was reading Takano's scrapbooks, right? And honestly, we learned a lot on that one. We learned that the things that might be happening to the people, right, that were going crazy is the one Takano was researching about. The parasites, the maggots, the homesickness, all of that, but we don't really have an actual name yet. Maybe homesickness, homing something. Yeah, but actual name not yet. Hopefully they give us like a detailed explanation in the future, like a super detailed one, right? We will have to see that. And then we shift to Keiichi, and then later Keiichi was walking home or walking to the store, right, for an errand, and then he saw Rena being very cautious, right? And Rena said, "Oh, she's being followed because she has Takano's scrapbooks. She knows a lot." And Keiichi's like, maybe she's hallucinating it, right? Or just imagining it because of what has been happening, what she's done, right? But in reality, she was actually being followed by the guys in the white van. I guess the same guys from chapter 1 in Onikakushi, right? So let's see what happens today. But yeah, it was actually real. She was being at least followed, or I don't know if they want to take her. We don't know yet. But I guess they want Takano's scrapbooks, right? They want him
すま
back.
なかった、レナ。俺はどこかでレナの話を疑ってたよ。本当にすまない。
いいよ、ケイチ君。そのおかげで待ち伏せをやり過ごせたんだしね。
あいつらは何者なんだ。そのお社様信仰を復活させようとする信者の集団の手先。
彼らにはそういう自覚はないと思う。彼らを操っている黒幕はそうなんだと思うけどね。多分ダム戦争の当時から陰で様々な工作をしてきた連中なんだと思う。
ダム戦争の最中に園崎家が裏でいろいろと暗躍したって話は俺も少しは聞いたことがあるな。
有名な話だよね。これは大石さんに聞いたんだけど、ダム戦争の最中に誘拐事件があったんだって。これも秘密の事件なんだけど、なんでも建設大臣の孫を誘拐してダム建設中止の約束を裏取引したんだって。
大臣の孫を誘拐？おいおい、そんなの聞いたことないぞ。
大臣が犯人との取引に応じる姿勢を見せたため、事件を公にしないことになったんだって。大石さんは当時その事件に関わったから知ってるんだって。
それで
大石さんが言うには、孫の誘拐や大臣の脅迫などの手口は恐ろしいほどに高度だったんだって。その事件は園崎家が命令を下したことだけは分かっているけど、結局未解決なんだって。当時園崎家の当主である園崎お涼は武装闘争の方針を打ち出していて、配下である暴力団組織の中に特攻隊を組織したそうなの。ダム計画の撤回がどうしても望めないときは建設省に突入して武力制圧しようなんて、そんな物騒な計画を本気で練っていたらしいの。
Everybody knows that the Sonozaki family had tried to stop the dam project even if it meant breaking the law. So I wasn't so surprised to hear that she had a dangerous plan like that. Actually, I wouldn't be surprised if it was Mion who came up with the idea. The plan sounded just like her.
結局その計画は計画のままで終わったんだけど、それを実行するための特攻隊の訓練というのは行われていて、相当高度なものだったらしいよ。
Okay. Oishi had uncovered information right after the dam conflict ended. At the time, Oryo even said that if the village was going to be submerged, all members of the Onigafuchi Guardians would choose to stay in their houses and drown. So what happens, by the way, for example, like that, right? If you're gonna do that, and for example, it was passed. They did it. The dam, I mean, it was successful, and the villagers didn't want to leave their houses, and they all died. What's gonna happen? I mean, like, this is gonna be a very, very big scandal, right? Because a lot of people are gonna die there. So because Ori was behind those things, I couldn't just laugh off the idea of an armed assault on the Ministry of Construction. According to the information Oishi seized, she planned a suicide mission as a last resort when the dam conflict started to heat up, in case the resistance wasn't successful. She had actually obtained weapons and put people through training for the sake of that plan. The Special Attack Corps were flown to America. Ooh. Receiving a huge amount of money from Oreo for the operation. See? I told you, man. They have a lot of money, and Mion was like, why can't we have air conditioners in our classroom? Tell your grandma to donate air conditioners. In the southern desert of the United States, some retired military soldiers gave them highly professional training. So they're doing all this in case, right? In case things goes bad, they will defend the town, the village, to the death. While the plan was never carried out, the Special Attack Corps became a death squad under direct control of Oreo after they came back from America. Death squad. Jesus, that's scary. They were involved in many unresolved terrorist incidents, and they succeeded in kidnapping the grandson of the minister as well. Wait, what? I thought they didn't do it. I thought they didn't do it though. Sorry.
嘘みたいな話だな。
みーちゃんがよくヘリの操縦から無線機まで何でもできるみたいなことを言うでしょ。あれは本当。
Is it actually true though? Didn't they say they weren't involved with that? Or I don't know, man. I don't know.
みーちゃんも当時その訓練に参加してるらしいよ。
I'm getting confused. I mean.
じゃああいつ本当に。
まあみーちゃんの話はともかく、このひなみ沢には大臣の孫すらも誘拐できるだけの暗殺部隊が存在するってことだけは疑っちゃダメ。
I didn't take a close look at the four men in the white van today, but in thinking about it, they did look professional in a way. They were pretending to just be taking a break, but I could tell they were tense the whole time. Is CC talking about, the white van? Oh, okay. No, but this is not with... These guys are probably not with the Sonozaki family. These guys are with Irie, though.
それであいつらはレナの命を狙っているのか。
多分狙ってはいないと思う。殺すだけだったら私もう殺されてるよ。
じゃあ狙いはまさかあれか。高野さんのスクラップ帳。
圭一君が見た通り、連中は相当警戒心が強いみたいで、隙を見つけない限りは強引な手段に訴えてこないみたいなの。だって強引な連中なら私の自宅の寝込みを襲えばいいんだから。
それをしないってことは結構慎重だってことになるな。
多分私がスクラップ帳を持っているという確信がないからだと思うの。彼らはミオさんを殺し、持っていたスクラップ帳を全て処分しようとした。ところが一番重要な数冊が抜けていた。それで自分が狙われているのを察して誰かに預けたんじゃないかと考えてるんだと思うの。その有力候補が私なんだと思う。でも確証がないから強引な手段に訴えられないんだろうね。
レナ、お前かなりヤバい橋を渡ってるんじゃないのか。
そうだね。ちょっと怖いかな。でもそう簡単には消されないよ。私は大石さんと連携している。有事の際に備えて常に連絡を取り合っているしね。
そうだ、大石さんはどう言ってるんだよ。
大石さんも園崎家が何らかの暗躍をしていないか 監視してくれてるよ。
高野さんのスクラップ帳の話はしたのか？
話してない。
警察には話した方がいいだろう。それに警察ならきっと力になってくれるぞ。
圭一君、私は君にだって信じてもらえるか自信がなくて話せないでいるんだよ。大石さんに話したって絶対に信じてもらえるわけがない。
なあレナ、もう煙に巻くのはなしだ。話してくれ。一体何なんだ？何がスクラップ帳に書いてあるんだ？高野さんが消されるほどの何が書いてあるんだ？
簡単に言うと、このスクラップ帳に書いてあることが事実なら、彼らの神が貶められることになるの。
神を貶める？
そう。お社様の神聖性が失われてしまう。だからお社様信仰を復活させようとする彼らは絶対に伏せたいと思っているの。
すまんレナ、もう少し分かりやすく言ってくれ。つまりどういうことなんだ？
つまりお社様は神様じゃないってことなの。
神様じゃない？
I had no idea what she read that made her so certain, but whatever it was, it'd be sacrilegious for people who believe so strongly on OYASHIRO-SAMA.
お社様の教えっていくつもあるけど、その原点はたったの一つしかない。それは中から出るな、外から入るなというもの。この大原則を守るためにその他の教義を発展させたと言ってもいいくらい。隣人を愛せとか家内安全とか縁結びの神様なんてのは本当に後から取ってつけたものでしかないの。
In other words, OYASHIRO-SAMA existed solely to stop the villagers from going outside the village. OYASHIRO-SAMA doesn't bless the villagers or protect them from disasters. The people believe that OYASHIRO-SAMA does all that for them, but the truth is that the people abuse his name for that purpose, generation after generation, and nothing more than that. I think Rena is saying, like, most of it, the truth, right? And just like Shion, she's thinking that it was a Sonozaki family that's doing this, but in reality, it's not. I mean, the one who's kind of trying to get her is not the Sonozaki family, I mean. Yes, the guys last time, yes, in the white van. Why did OYASHIRO-SAMA descend in the first place? Because demons came out of the Onagafuchi swamp and attacked people.
実はこの時点で解釈が違ってたの。鬼が湧き出して襲ったんじゃない。湧き出したものにやられると人々を襲う鬼になるの。
湧き出したもの？どういう意味だよ、レナ。
Whatever came out of the swamp possessed people, crawled into their blood, controlled them, and turned them into demons. People had no resistance against whatever it was that came out of the swamp. They became demons, attacked the other villagers, and turned them into demons as well. That's right. It was a weird infectious disease that broke out from the swamp. It made the infected people go out of control. So this is, for example, this is what happens, or what is happening right now with Rena, I guess. And then for Shion, and then with Keiichi back then, right? But I want to know, how is the activation process with this one? Like, how does it actually activate? Because they said it's the homesickness, right? But I think there's more to it. We need to learn more about that. The villagers saw this disaster and explained it like so. So maybe back then, they were attacking in a lot of numbers, I mean. Like in our story here, it's like one person at a time. One person, two persons, right? But back then, maybe it's like a lot. Evil demons came out from the bottom of the swamp, possessed people, and turned them into demons as well. That is the truth of the story of the demons that came out of the Onigafuchi swamp.
確かにそれだと伝説をうまく説明できるな。じゃあお社様ってのはひょっとして異国から来た医者？
そうだね。正確には正しくないけど、そう、医者と呼べる存在。それが降臨して伝染病を治療したの。でもそれは治療ではなく対処療法でしかなかった。
All his treatment could do was reduce the symptoms of infection. Villagers could have their symptoms suppressed, but there was no way to kill the parasites that had infested them. After a while, the village was divided into two groups. One group was made of the people who were already infected, and the other consisted of the people who weren't. Without a cure for the disease, the uninfected looked down on the people who could only suppress their violent symptoms. They even talked about drowning them in the swamp. But they knew killing the infected people wouldn't solve the problem. The parasites came out of their water sources, including Onigafuchi swamp. They couldn't fill them all in, for if they did that, they would lose their access to drinking water. They could have chosen to leave the village, but that was hard for them, for that was the location of their ancestors' graves. Under the power of OYASHIRO-SAMA, infected people could live without showing symptoms. So both those who were infected and those who weren't decided to live together equally and coexisted with the parasite. OYASHIRO-SAMA was impressed by the village decision. He decided to stay there and continue to treat them.
それがお社様がこの地にとどまり人と鬼の生活を見守ったの真相か。
そしてお社様は感染者である村人たちに症状を出さないために掟を作った。その最大にして唯一のものが村から出てはいけない、外から人を入れてはいけないだったの。
外から人を入れてはいけないってのはわかるぜ。感染者を増やさないためだろう。でも出てはいけないってのはどういう意味なんだ？
寄生虫たちは気候や風土の関係でこのひなみ沢の地でしか生きられないらしいの。だから宿主である感染者がこの地を離れようとすると強い症状を出してそれを妨害するの。その妨害こそがいわゆるお社様のたたりの正体。
The strongest symptoms of the infectious disease were violence and delirium. See? Violence. And yeah, being delirious. The infected people acted just like demons, and the impact of seeing them in the throes of the disease was strong enough to make others describe them as such. They couldn't even let people leave who had just come to the village. If they had left after being infected, they might go crazy in a faraway land, turn into a vicious demon, and cause a disaster. Infected people were never allowed to leave. When an infected person left the village, they brought him back by any means necessary. That was what it really meant to be demoned away.
ちょっと待てよレナ。だとしたら俺やレナも村人はみんなその病気に感染してることになるよな。でも俺たちはひなみ沢を離れたって別に何の問題もないぞ。実際村人にも結婚したりして遠方に住んでる人も少なくないらしいじゃないか。ひなみ沢をちょっと離れたからって錯乱して鬼と化したなんて聞いたことないぞ。
そう、それはまさにお社様の目論見通りにことが進んだからなんだよ。意味がわかるかな。この村を長い間封印してきたのは寄生虫の害を弱めるためなの。
Hosts are very important for parasites. If something happens to the host, the parasites that live in the host have to share the same fate. In other words, if the host went crazy and attacked people, the host would be captured and killed, which means the parasites would die with the host too.
そうか、自然淘汰か。
さすが圭一君。 そう。この地で長く生活を重ね、厳しい戒律で生活を続けた結果、寄生虫に対し過敏な人間は錯乱して結局殺された。また感染者を錯乱させてしまうような強すぎる寄生虫はこれもまた錯乱した宿主と共に殺された。その結果、寄生虫と人間は互いに相性がいい種だけが残っていった。これこそがお社様の伝説が伝える鬼と人の血は混じり合ったことの真相。
じゃあつまりその寄生虫はほとんど無害なわけなのか。
ミオさんのスクラップ帳によると、そういった無害な寄生虫に感染しているケースというのはかなり多いんだって。食文化にもよるけど、例えば生肉を食べる国では国民の8割くらいが感染している例もあるんだって。でも矯正できてて人体に全く無害だから誰も治療しない、気づかない。だから撲滅もされない。
なるほどな。
太古の綿流しはね、実は腹綿流しと書く物騒なものでね。
The voice is kind of different though.
錯乱した犠牲者の臓腑を食らうものだったの。
Maybe it's just a voice actor. It has nothing to do with the story, right? Maybe this, because we're using a mod, maybe they added voice signs for this one? Yeah.
でもこれも必要なことだった。
感染して犠牲になった人を食らう。まさかワクチンとか。
圭一君はやっぱり頭がいいね。ミオさんもそう読み解いてる。伝説では犠牲者を生きたまま解体して食らったなんて物騒なことになっているけど、実際はそんな野蛮なものじゃなくて、もっともっと医学的に取り扱われていたらしいの。強すぎる寄生虫のせいで死んだ犠牲者からワクチンを作り出し、同時に村人の抵抗力も高めていった。
お社様ってのは何者なんだよ一体。医学先進国っていうとドイツか。
German?
正体はひょっとしてナンパして流れ着いた外国人医師。
多分圭一君の答えが一番一般的だと思う。ドイツ人ではないんだけど、とりあえず医者的な存在であったのは正解。
古代の伝説の秘密が明かされていくってのはなんだか面白いな。
I don't think that Rena's story is too crazy to be true anymore. It still sounds crazy, of course, but I've never heard any theories that explain the legend of this village better than this one.
多分俺も感染してるんだよな。なんだか体中が痒くなってくるぜ。
人間だって一つの宇宙だよ。体の中には無数の細菌たちが住んでいる。その中には私たちの生活には欠かせない有用な細菌たちも少なくないんだよ。
ああ、よくヨーグルトとかの CM で言ってるよな。確かにそうだ。
これもミオさんの受け売りだけど、例えばシロアリっているでしょ。
Termites.
木材を食い荒らしてしまうアリ。実はシロアリって木材を消化できないんだって。体内に寄生している特殊な細菌が食べた木材の繊維を分解してくれて、その結果シロアリは木材を吸収できるんだって。これも寄生虫と共生している一例だね。
I didn't know that. When I hear the word parasites, I feel creeped out almost instinctively. But now I know some of them aren't so bad to us.
だから太古の昔に鬼ヶ淵村から突如発生した奇怪な伝染病は今ではほぼ根絶されたと言っていい。根絶じゃないね。無害になったと言うべきだね。
最初はとんでもない話だと思ってたけどさ、こうして種明かしがされるとなんだかサイエンスな感じがしてちょっと面白い話だよな。
私たちには面白いよ。でもお社様を神として崇める人たちにとってはこれはとても不愉快な説。
Of course. If the Kano-san's theory is correct, Oyashiro-sama isn't a god. And the punishment by that god, namely the curse of Oyashiro-sama, that people have been so afraid of, will turn out to be just as symptoms of infectious diseases. I see. That's what dethroning God would mean.
だとすると、もしこの伝染病の病原体を特定して世間に発表されるようなことがあれば、信仰は破綻しちまうな。
そう。それこそが彼らの一番恐れることなの。
Yeah, people don't want that. They're gonna get angry if people try to do that.
そしてミオさんはその病原体を特定しようとしていたらしい。
No, but I don't think Takano-san is doing this for the greater good. Hell no, hell no. She has bad things or bad stuff for this, for sure.
そのミオさんが消されたということは。
And she's not dead, for sure.
特定できたってことか。
かもしれないね。ミオさんはもういないし、彼女のスクラップ帳にも特定できたとは書かれていない。でも消されるに値する理由が他に思いつかないの。
でもよ、20世紀ももうすぐ終わろうっていう現代だぜ。村人だっていろんな医療機関で検査を受けてきたはずだ。なのにそういう怪しげな寄生虫が摘出されたって話はないんだろう。
うん。確かに病原体そのものは未だ発見されていない。でも確かに何かの規制を受けていることの信号だけは確認されているんだって。
なんだって？本当かよ。
When a parasite enters a human body, that body's immune system cells, eosinophils and macrophages try to kill the parasite. They secrete an antibody called immunoglobulin E. Okay. The most common way of checking if a person is infected by a pathogen is to look at the levels of this secretion. According to Takano's research, people from Hinamizawa have a very high level of IgE in their blood. That's not all. IG or LGE? I just say IG. They also have obvious symptoms of being infected by parasites. They don't have any allergies. IgE stimulates mast cells and they secrete histamines and serotonin. As a result, this causes an allergic reactions. Yes, histamine. That allergic reaction isn't pleasant for humans, but it's necessary for the body to kill the pathogens. But the parasites don't want to be killed, of course, so they secrete substances that counteract the IgE. As a result, IgE stops stimulating the receptors of the mast cells, which stop secreting the chemical compounds. As a result, the antigen-antibody reaction, namely the allergic reaction, doesn't occur. In other words, a human body that was infected by a parasite secretes a high level of IgE, but doesn't display allergic reactions. For your information, a human body that's infected by a parasite doesn't suffer from hay fever. You get hay fever due to your body secreting a large amount of IgE because it's mistaken pollen for a parasitic invasion. As a result, a large amount of stimulants like histamine will be secreted, but your body can't contain the parasites that is attempting to kill. That's why your body continues to secrete IgE. As a result, the stimulants keep causing allergic reactions. That's how hay fever works. If you have a parasite in your body, it'll deactivate your IgE and suppress the secretion of stimulants. As a result, you don't have an allergic reaction. In other words, there's no hay fever in Hinamizawa and you can cure hay fever by moving here.
つまり特定はできなくてもその存在だけは疑いようがないってわけだ。
うん。そうなるね。
だとすると、そのスクラップ帳は狂信的な連中にとっては十分危険な存在だな。たとえ特定できなくても存在を証明してる時点で十分に危険だと思うぞ。
そうだね。たとえ証拠にはならなくても、彼らにとってはミオさんを葬るに値する危険性があったと思う。
確かに恐ろしい秘密だな。ちゃんと説明してもらえば理解できることだが、いきなり聞いたら刺激が強すぎる話だぜ。
でしょ？だから私も最初は信じられなかったし、圭一君に話しても信じてもらえないと思った。
で、大事なのはその事実を隠蔽しようと暗躍してるヤバい連中がいるって方なんだよな。
そう、今大事なのはそっちの方。
The fanatics who want to revive the sanctity of the god they worship. Reviving the majesty of their god means reviving the power of that god. And the power of their god is the infectious disease. This infectious disease can spread nationwide unlike other infectious diseases. So from now on, I'm going to start calling it an endemic disease. That fits better since it only affects this region. Yeah, basically only in Hinamizawa. And anyway, the endemic disease of current-day Hinamizawa is different from the ones of the old times. It's been through a process of natural selection and it's harmless now. In other words, it doesn't do any harm to human bodies. That harm was once interpreted as a curse. A curse is the power of a god, so a harmless endemic disease means that the god is powerless. That means the only way to regain the majesty of that god is to revive the curse. In other words, they want to bring back the primitive endemic disease, namely the harmful, strong version of the parasite.
ちょっと待てよ。信者たちは神が実は寄生虫だったなんてことは否定したいんだろう。なのに寄生虫を研究するのかよ。矛盾してないか？
矛盾しているよ。だからこの研究は信者たちのトップだけが知る秘密の研究なんだと思う。彼らは表向きは信仰を盛り上げているけど、その裏では信仰の正体について極めて冷静に理解していて、神の技を自らの手で復活させようとしている。
なるほどな。おいおい、なんだかとんでもない話になってきたぞ。
ミオさんのスクラップ帳にはそうとは一言も書かれてないんだけど、私監督の診療所って怪しいと思うの。
異例診療所が？
Yes, Irie.
どうして？
ひなみ沢の規模から見て施設が立派すぎるのがその理由。そしてミオさんはそこに勤めていた。監督は園崎家にスカウトされてきた細菌学者が正体とか。
監督がか？
ミオさんは余計なことを知りすぎたから消されたんだと思うの。なのに監督が消されない理由は、監督は信者たちに依頼されている立場だから。
そして太古の有害な風土病を研究してるってのか？あの監督が。
ごめん、監督は無関係かもしれないね。今のは私の思いつき。でも研究は間違いなくどこかで誰かにさせている。そしてその研究には5年かかり、ついに完成を見た。
The first case was the dismemberment murder by the dam construction workers. Their quarrel had turned into a lynching. They might have had the primitive infectious disease, and the symptoms, the aggression and delirium, might have kicked in. The victims of the second year were Satoko's parents. There were no witnesses, so the whole event is veiled in mystery, but there's a theory that someone might have pushed them over the cliff, since the fence of the observation deck that they fell from was quite sturdy. I think I said, not said, but I think I just mentioned, I was like back then when I first heard this, like Satoko was there, right? When this happened. that Satoko might have pushed her parents, right? Maybe, but we will never know until they actually show it to us, right? What if one of them was infected by a primitive parasite? He or she might have become violent and pushed the other over the cliff. The Shinto priest died from a disease, and his wife drowned herself in the 3rd year. So what happened to the Shinto priest here then? He might have died of shock because of hypersensitive reaction to the infection. Can it though? The priest honestly is the most mysterious one. Yeah, the most mysterious death out of everyone here. His wife might have gone crazy and committed suicide when one of the symptoms, delirium, kicked in. In the 4th year, Satoshi Hojo's aunt was beaten to death, probably by Satoshi himself. Everybody who knew Satoshi-kun remembers how he changed at that time. Okay, let's do a rundown with this one. Okay, okay, here. So the first one was the foreman, right? He got killed. Okay, let's start from the second one. Second one is Satoko's parents, right? So Satoko's parents here might been pushed by Satoko, right? Maybe. Because remember when Satoko pushed Keiichi on Higurashi, maybe she had this already back then? Kinda hard to say until we know, but maybe. My guess is gonna be Satoko was the one who did it. Shinto priest is hard to say. I said very mysterious, yes. The wife. Okay, this is my theory for this one. The others that had gone missing, right? The wife, Satoshi. Remember Keiichi was nearly run over, right, by the white van in the first chapter, right? So what if those guys were just trying to kidnap him because he was getting worse, I suppose, right? So maybe the wife had something similar to like Satoshi's or Keiichi. He got kidnapped. For Satoshi as well, he might, because yeah, he was just gone, right? He bought the bear, right? But he was just gone afterwards, right? Maybe he was also gotten by those guys. Keiichi was nearly gotten. They nearly took Keiichi. And for Rena, right now, it's either they want to get her because of Takano's scrapbooks, or because they notice that maybe Rena is getting worse. Maybe something like that, right? Maybe. We'll have to see. But that is my guess for now. For all these things that's been happening right now. Takano might be alive, right? For Tomitake, he clawed out his throat. How did it happen so fast? How did he become delirious and violent so fast? That also needs an explanation, like instant for him, right? Like he was okay in Watsunagashi and then later he was dead. How did that happen? He showed signs of being aggressive and delirious. Yes. And the fifth year, for the first time in 5 years, the victim experienced the maggot disease described in the old scroll of the Furude Shrine. Keiichi also had this maggot disease in the first chapter when he died in the phone booth, right in the ending. He was clawing his neck. He most likely had that, I mean. Yeah, it makes sense now. The reason behind that is unclear, but the stronger primitive parasite could have given its victims delusion of the maggots. This means that they finally managed to duplicate the curse of OYASHIRO-SAMA. After 5 years of research, Tomitake-san is the victim of the 5th year. He died in an extremely abnormal way, and I'm the only one who understands his death because I experienced the same thing. Oh, okay. I was like, why is Keiichi saying this? This is Rena. Okay, this is Rena right now. He kept clawing out his throat to get rid of the maggots and died as a result. With all that explained, I finally understood the maggot disease I experienced in the Baraki. I left Hinamizawa and made the parasite in me uncomfortable. As a result, I tried to resist even though it wasn't very strong and it tried to make me homesick. But with my parents' divorce, I grew mentally unbalanced and I completely lost the power to resist for a period of time. The parasite was weak and harmless, but my mental instability allowed it to worsen my symptoms dramatically. As a result, I went crazy and became violent. The delusion of Oyashiro-sama appearing to me in the bathroom was probably the terminal phase of my delirium. Okay, and Rena is explaining it now. I created the supernatural existent Oyashiro-sama that I was instilled with when I was little. Then I persuaded myself to go back to Hinamizawa based on that delusion. Some of the transcendents of Inagafuchi must have had the same kind of experience. They must have passed their experiences down as the acts of a god. I remember once on TV that indigenous people in South America use some kind of natural drug in order to have a mystical experience, and that they called it a ritual to communicate with their god. What's this, Mary Jane?
じゃあ信者どもの目的はその太古の寄生虫をひなみ沢中にばらまくことなのか。
多分それが最終目的だと思う。でも人知れずにそれをやることはないと思うの。宗教にはセレモニーが必要だから。だからもし彼らが望むものを生み出せてそれをばらまく日が訪れたなら、彼らは多分それをお社様の復活の日とでも称して宗教的なデモンストレーションをすると思うの。
The day of Oyashiro-sama's revival.
何か特別な儀式とか、とにかくお社様の復活を祝い知らしめるような盛大な何か。
なあ、それってよ、悪いことなんだよな。
危険性の高い病原体をばらまこうというんだから、多分悪いことに分類されるだろうね。
それって最近テロって言わないか。おい、めちゃくちゃヤバいことだぞ。おい、富武さんの死に方がお社様のたたりの再現に成功していた以上、 X デーは間近ってことなんじゃないのか。
Maybe they tried it on Tomitake, right? And then that's why it was instant for him, right? Yeah, maybe Tomitake became the experiment here, the guinea pig, right? They tried it on him. Can be, yeah. Makes sense.
わからない。もう秒読みなのか、まだまだ時間のかかることなのか。
もうこれはレナ一人が抱えていい問題じゃないぞ。かなり笑えない大陰謀だぞ。俺たちにはどうしようもない。警察に任す方がないぞ。
私が話したこと、警察は信じてくれると思う？
信じるかどうかは向こうが判断するだろう。とにかく話した方がいい。
圭一君、それを大石さんに私が打ち明けたら、私がスクラップ帳を持っていることを告白するのと同じなんじゃないかな。
それってまずいのか。
大石さんの接触はミオさんが殺された後だった。敵はミオさんを殺した時点でスクラップ帳の紛失とその数日前に私が図書館で出会っていることを知っている。
バカな。つまり
そう、大石さん自体が敵の手先である可能性がある。
Oishi? Can he though? He was called Oyashiro-sama's, what was he called again? They were calling him something like that, right? I don't know though, I don't know.
大石さんは私がスクラップ帳を持っている可能性があると当たりをつけていて、探りを入れてきているのかもしれない。実際彼はうさんくさくて腹を割らない。園崎家を疑わせるようなことを言って自分は味方だと言ってくるけど、彼だってその園崎家の手先かもしれない。
警察を疑い出したらおしまいだぞ。
圭一君、4年目の撲殺事件を知ってるよね。聡子ちゃんのおばさんが殺された事件。あれは犯人はサトシ君以外に考えられないんだけど、その後犯人は麻薬中毒者だったということになった。これをどう思う？
警察内部に狂信的な連中の手先が混じっていて、犯人を捏造したってことか。
3年目の神主さんの病死の検視とか、2年目の北条夫妻の事故現場の見聞とか。警察がもしも彼らの片棒を担いでいるなら、数々の完全犯罪が可能になる。ひなみ沢御三家はダム戦争時から今日に至るまでもずっと警察への圧力を維持してるんだよ。それに沖宮の町のいろんなところに一族が進出して実権を握っているというのはみーちゃんから聞かされたことがあるんじゃない？
確かに。それはミオンの口からだけじゃない。いろんな奴の口から聞かされた。ミオンの園崎家がどれだけ市内全域に強力な影響力を持っているかってのもな。
そういうこと。警察はこの土地では必ずしも信用できない。
レナ、すまん。先にはっきりさせたいんだが、黒幕は園崎家なのか？ミオンも関係があるってのか？それだけは先に聞かせてくれ。
御三家であるみーちゃんやリカちゃんが直接関係しているかはわからない。ただ狂信的な勢力が御三家や一番の有力家である園崎家を自由に動かせる中枢部に根付いているのは間違いない。狂信的な勢力が根付いたのか、御三家の中枢が狂信的なのかは分かりかねるけどね。
関係あるかどうかわからない以上、用心に越したことはないってわけだな。
うん。みーちゃんたちのことを疑うわけじゃないよ。普段のみーちゃんは頼もしいし、私も他の心配事なら打ち明けて助力を求めることもあると思う。ただ今回のことはちょっと話の次元が違う。圭一くんは見たことあるかな？みーちゃんは普段はふざけているけど、園崎家の次期当主として振る舞うときはものすごく冷酷で別人みたいに振る舞えるの。それにもし無関係だったとしても、
ミオンたちが味方になってくれればかなり頼もしいぞ。俺は打ち明ける価値があると思うんだが。
だからそれはダメ。敵ではないと確認が取れるまでそれは避けるべきだよ。味方にできれば確かに心強いけど、そうでなかった時はどうするつもり？
じゃあ俺とレナだけでどう戦うつもりなんだよ。
もともと最初から絶望的な戦いなんだよ。だから圭一くんを巻き込みたくなかった。
くそ、高野さんめ、とんでもない置き土産を残してくれたな。
でもそのおかげでとてつもない陰謀を知ることができたんだよ。これはミオさんの遺言なんだよ、きっと。
村を陰から牛耳る何者かに、その村に住まうガキンチョ2人が挑むわけだ。こいつは最高にハードな話だぜ。一筋縄じゃいかねえぞ。
でも圭一くんが味方でよかったよ。2人だから話し合えて相談できる。
当たり前だろ。俺は最初からずっとレナの味方で仲間だぞ。
ありがとう。2人なら心強いよ。
一人で悩むよりは建設的になれるだろうしな。
そうだね。2人でどう戦えばいいか、これからじっくり相談していこう。今日は私スクラップ帳を読み直す時間が欲しかったから休んだけど、明日からは普段通りに生活するね。おかしな行動をすれば気取られてしまうかもしれないからね。圭一くんも変に構えないで普段通りに生活してね。みーちゃんとか時折鋭いことがあるから特に気をつけて。
わかった。何事もなかったかのように生活するよ。 だが畜生、なんだか怖いぜ。とんでもない陰謀が間近に迫ってて、それがもうカウントダウンに入ってるかもしれないってんだぜ。それを知りつつ普段通りに生活しろってのも辛い話だよな。
多分そんなにすぐじゃないはずなの。さっきも言った通り、彼らが狂信的であればあるほど宗教的なセレモニーを必要とするはず。そういうセレモニーは村を挙げて行うものだもの。綿流し以上のイベントは今のひなみ沢には存在しない。
ということは少なくとも来年の綿流しまでは大丈夫ということか。
根拠のない読みだけどね。他に綿流し以上のイベントが思いつかない。
I think we have a year at least. No, you don't have a year. But I also feel like we don't because of how they killed Mio-san. I might not know, but there might be a bigger religious event than what's Nagashi. It might not be long until that day. On the day OYASHIRO-SAMA's revival, they're going to spread a dangerous parasite, and that day might be just around the corner.
レイナ、まだ電話してるのか？そろそろ終わりにしなさい。
My father stuck his head out of the living room and telling me I need to hang up soon. I thought about telling him so many times. It's natural to think that your parents will be on your side no matter what. But I know just how weak he can get, so I couldn't tell him. I don't think he'd believe me anyway, even if I told him. He'd just tell me to call the cops. It's better that I don't tell him. They might get close to my father to get me. If he didn't know anything about anything, including the scrapbooks, there'd be nothing to squeeze out of him to begin with.
ごめんね、ケイチ君。今夜はもう遅いからこれで切るね。また明日学校で。
おう、また明日学校で。
出した。
用心してね。ケイチ君ももう部外者じゃないんだから。
おう、せいぜい気をつけるぜ。
I remembered the suspicious men in the white van and felt a chill run through my spine. They looked like villagers, but they weren't. They had the village accent, but they were just pretending. The more I thought about it, the more suspicious they became. It let me know that Rena and I aren't safe. If Rena is right, they're suspicious of her and they're not sure if she has the scrapbooks or not. But it's still creepy. Rena had probably experienced the same creepiness I felt when I saw the van several times up until now. She must sense the danger more than I do. However, the fact that they weren't attacking, that they were merely observing us, was disturbing. If they attacked her, she could have done something like going to the police. But all they were doing is just watching her from a distance. She can't do anything about it. She can't talk to anybody about it. She's probably just wants to stay in her house all day. But if she acted different, they might take it as proof as if she has the scrapbooks. We have to think about how to fight against them without making it obvious. I told myself that there was no going back and I put the phone down. It was a very long conversation with them, but it was pretty cool. Yes. There were a lot of points, I suppose. But I'll just say that what do you call this? Okay, let's take a break here. But yeah, like I think most of what Rena said is correct, most of it, except that this isn't Sonozaki family, or maybe the village people. Most likely not. Most likely, yes. I think it has something to do with the clinic itself, right? Those guys in the white van, yeah. Sonozaki family, or the three families, maybe they're doing something, maybe, right? But probably, maybe, just maybe. But most of this stuff is the other ones, the what do you call this? The clinic guys, right? Irie, Takano, those guys in the white van. I want to learn more, dude. I want to learn more. Because last time, right, in chapter 5, Miyakashi, like, Shion was pretty much torturing, killing people from the three families, right? The heads of the families. Oreo, she killed accidentally. Kimiyoshi, she killed. Or what did she do again? She like hanged him and then he died later, right? And then, yeah, Mion as well. Rika, Satoko. Basically, she thought that it was the three families that abducted Satoshi, right? So abducted, killed, whatever. But in reality, it was not them. So she'd been killing all of them, but it was not them, right? So I think, as I said earlier, like the disappearances is probably the guys from the clinic. They've been the one probably who kidnapped Satoshi, right? Because he became violent and delusional. Maybe they took him. Maybe they wanted to study him. Maybe something like that, right? For Rena, no one knows if Rena killed, right? I guess only the friends, and yeah, Rena and the friends only. So maybe the reason they're looking at her is because of the scrapbooks, right? Takano better show up, man. Like, she's one of the big pieces here. Takano and Irie for now. Both of them, those clinic guys. Clinic people. We need to learn more of them. Hopefully we learn more of them in this chapter, right? I want to know if I'm actually right. But learning all of this stuff that's been happening is very nice, right? This parasites, this stuff there, that it's nice that because we're getting answers to it, even though it's not yet detailed, right? It's nice that we're having answers like this. I love it a lot. So yes, we're gonna continue this and do more of Higurashi When They Cry, chapter 6, Tsumihoroboshi, in the next one. So I'll just see you then, guys. Bye bye.